Hello everyone. Hello and welcome to this third session of live on Media Master. So today we are going to see pixel mapping in two steps. We are going to see first of all pixel mapping in ArtNet, and as well then pixel mapping in ClingNet. And I will explain for the one that don't know ClingNet, what's ClingNet, what's the difference between ArtNet, where can I find some ClingNet fixture, how do I know my ClingNet is my lighting fixture is ClingNet or not, all of those questions. But first of all, special times guys, I would like to remind you, if you following a bit us on social network, that Archaeos currently supports every one of you that like to contribute to produce a show, to thanks everybody working in healthcare these days. Those guys are the real today zeros. As you know, they spend a lot of time there, hospitals, taking care of us. And we like to support as well, or we can. So any of you that like to put together a mapping, a light, something, a show, for those ones, for those healthcare team to bit light up their evening with some thank you note, as we had from one of our friends from US already, just contact us. Contact at archaeos.net, as you can see here, the address that I highlight right here. Send us a small email, and we'll be very pleased to send you an activation code on MediaMaster, GrandVJ, GrandVJ whatever you like to use for that show. So send us an email, explain a bit your project, and we will be very, very happy to support you for free, of course, in that project with an activation code for that show. So all information you can find on our website there. The email is here. That's pretty easy. So again, if you own some projectors, you have some projectors in stocks of some lights, you like to put something together, any scales, big or small one, feel free and contact us. We will be very pleased to help. As well, special times. We have currently a huge promotion on servers, especially on Stadium servers. We've launched that a couple of days ago on some units, limited stock of units. If I'm not mistaken, right now, 2 units left. 2 units left with a special price of 7,699. So those are very, very, very limited offers. So first come, first serve. So again, if you are interested by this offer, send us an email through any of our emails, to my own email or through archaeos.net again about that, and we will be very pleased to reply and contact you regarding that special promotion. That's it. Thank you very much. So let's go back to MediaMaster. So today, pixel mapping, ArtNet and CleanNet. So if you like to follow on that course, again, Archaeos website, there you can download MediaMaster Pro. You can download it for free. Use it on Mac and PC. Install it on any computer that you have home, any modern computer, of course, that you have home. And you can already produce some pixels using ArtNet or CleanNet. You don't need any license for that. That's totally free. The only limitation that you will get is some white flash on the output every minute. But if you have MediaMaster on your laptop right now and you're following me on your laptop, you can do everything there without any license. So go on our website, archaeos.com, download the software for free, Mac or PC. Okay, both can do ArtNet and CleanNet, Mac on PC, and you can try it as well. Something very important: you like to do some ArtNet or pixel mapping setup tests at your place, but you don't own lighting fixture, you don't have CleanNet device. Okay, you don't have that, you just have your home studio there. We have online some apps available on Android and iOS. 2 apps available on both platforms. First app is what we call Artnator. Artnator is ArtNet viewer for mobile platform, iPhone, iPad, Android, you name it. Connect that on your local network and you're able to monitor value of ArtNet with a viewer that you have here. Or you are also able to turn your phone into a pixel tile and send some pixel from your laptop, from a Wi-Fi connection, for instance, at home. From your laptop, you are able to send some pixel to your mobile device. I'm monitoring the chat at the same time, so yep, looks good. We have the same as well for CleanNet. That's very handy, very handy. A lot of customers use that to try. So basically that app, CleanNet Tile, will turn your phone into a CleanNet fixture. So you will turn on the app on your phone. That app, that your phone will be automatically recognized like any CleanNet fixture from MediaMaster or from GrandVidge XT, and you are able to send pixels directly from your laptop through the network on your mobile app. So those 2 apps are free. iOS, Android, feel free. They're there. They're available. So download it if you like to follow us, to follow me, to follow me today. You can follow on those. All right, let's dig in. MediaMaster. So let's start with ArtNet. So today, I'm not gonna explain you what's ArtNet, what's DMX. I hope you all know. So ArtNet, DMX. ArtNet is a network protocol, okay, based on DMX. Every lighting fixture is running DMX of ArtNet, so it's a standard. MediaMaster have ArtNet DMX input for triggers that we saw already a couple lives ago. The last one was with Leo. We'll have another one with Leo, by the way, in 2 weeks, also, guys, with some more deep detail or how to use the fixture mode a bit more advanced. With a Grande May again, I think, or Shamsis, I'm not sure, but anyway, that's the same. So back on ArtNet, sorry. So MediaMaster ArtNet output. So we output 256 universe of ArtNet, okay, available from MediaMaster Pro or MediaMaster Express. GrandVJ XT also have that. So 256 universe of ArtNet, broadcast or unicast. We're gonna check the difference. So we saw a bit on some previous live one of the satellites of MediaMaster, which is Video Mapper. So today and now we are going to start on ArtNet. So I'm gonna launch the LED Mapper from MediaMaster. So LED Mapper, that's pretty easy, guys. You go edit, LED Mapper, and open the satellites. Let's go for that one. And I'm gonna check if I can maybe move a bit. Oop, sorry for that. If I can move, maybe give you another setup. I have a second cam that will record everything today. So my setup is, I have my computer connected in the network, cable going to a switch. Let me transit that for you. So going to a switch that I have right here. That's a switch, HP broadcast switch, normal. That network cable is going from my computer to that switch, okay, and from that switch to this pixel tile, okay. First thing to do if you like to run ArtNet in MediaMaster, check your IP address, okay. So ArtNet runs on specific IPs address, so it's either the 2 range or 10 range. In my case, let's do it together. I open my network setting on my computer. If you're running a Mac, it's a bit different, but the rules are the same. I have 2 network cards on my system right now, because obviously there is one which is streaming right now on the internet, and the second one that you can see, this one is not doesn't have any internet access. That's the one that I use for my ArtNet output. Change adapter option. Select my network card, right click, properties, IPv4, double click on it, and that's where I can change the IP address. As you can see, my IP address is 2.0.0.1. Could be any in the 2 range or any in the 10 range. That's the same, okay. So first of all, first thing that you have to do, set a fixed IP there, okay. For ArtNet, that's way easier. Set a fixed IP, press OK, have an open mask. So 255.0.0, that will help you to have an easiest connection on your network. If you don't know very well which IP your fixture is running, or you know it is running, have an open mask for the beginning. So once you are done with that, and not before, as I did. Once you are done with that and done with your IP address, launch LED Mapper. Okay. First thing to do, top left side, you see network. LED Mapper needs to know on which output, on which network card it has to output his data. Okay. So there I have network, drop down menu, and from there I can select a specific IP address that I've set, or one of my existing ports. So in that case, you can see that 2001, that's the port I've just said before. 192.168, that's my second network card that I use for internet. That's not the one I want. I like to output from my network output dedicated to ArtNet, which is this one there. Okay, you can see immediately that my interface have a green notification there. You can see it's ArtNet out, so we are sending ArtNet. On that network port, ArtNet is active. Okay. So first thing that we see, center here, that's the canvas. So that will be your pixel size output. By default, that canvas size is 100 by 100. You can change it to any resolution that you need. I will advise you, depending your setup, guys, if you have a big setup with a lot of picture, big stage, try to have the smallest canvas that you can. Okay, so let's say you have, I don't know, 5-10 universe on set. You don't need to have a canvas of a 4K size. Okay, you can shrink it down, keeping the ratio, keeping your pixel mapping order, but try to have an optimized canvas. Okay, if you have 5 fixtures of 12 by 12 pixel that you're gonna place in that canvas, you don't need to have a canvas on 4000 on 4000. That doesn't make any sense. That give that give extra processing on the system for not a lot of reasons. Myself, I'm gonna map that fixture right here. This one is a 12 by 12 RGB, so I'm gonna have maybe a smaller canvas of 25 on 25. Maybe we have I don't know, 50 on 25. Okay, so my canvas now is 50 on 25. Okay, left hand side, there you find the library of fixtures. That's where you are going to find your fixtures. Okay, so we have some manufacturer there, and you can select from the list any of the fixture. If, and that's often the case, if your fixture is not in that list, okay, not to worry, you can create it. We are going to create that fixture right there together. It's in the list, but we are going to create it. That's pretty easy. The only thing that you need to know there, because it's ArtNet, because it's DMX, because it's a one-way communication, the software has no clue what's connected there. The software don't know that machine, don't know anything there. So I need to enter every DMX chart of the fixture. So it's better that you maybe have the documentation of that fixture, of the fixture that you used before doing that, and you can check in the DMX chart every lighting manufacturer, small tip, but every lighting manufacturer for every brand have that on their website. Most of the time it's up to date, so if you don't know, if you have some hesitation, if you like to know, you can just visit their website and take it from there. Canvas. Yes, so small questions about the canvas size. So the canvas that we saw a bit earlier, that will be the size of my pixel output. So every video that I'm gonna send, and we're gonna see that later, to my LED mapper output is going to fit the resolution of that canvas and the ratio as well. That's going to fit and fill the space that you have set right here in your canvas size. Okay, so let's create the fixture. It's new. Open that window. First thing that we need to know is what is the pixel profile of my fixture. Okay, pixel profile of my fixture is what kind of pixel is that? Is that an RGB, RGBW, a BRG, RGB Amber W? There is tons of different LED now on the market, guys. So again, ask your light manufacturer. He knows, that's written somewhere. If you don't know, check on the internet. My case, I know that fixture there is an RGB. If you look on the drop down menu, we have a lot. We already have a lot of fixture there. RGB, BRG, CMY, light. That one is pretty interesting. You have some fixture that have only dimmer value. Every pixel, every LED is one dimmer value, okay, one channel. So maybe for some of you that know the Jarag was only a dimmer channel, okay, warm white. There is some device that have that. No, they are back in the market. I know it's a trend, you know, coming back and forward. So lights, if you have just warm white pixels in your fixtures, that's the pixel you like to use. L light, it's just one dimmer, okay, one channel per pixel. So my case, RGB, select RGB. size. The size of my fixture, pretty easy. This fixture is 12 on 12 LED, 12 on 12 pixels. Okay, so 1 pixel is 3 LEDs, RGB to have a white, but this is 1 pixel. That's what the software is asking. It's asking a size in pixels, so it's 12 on 12. 12 on 12. And you see here a special option, custom size. Custom size will be for fixtures that are not like that. This is just a pixel matrix. So that fixture is only pixels. There's only that. There is no macros. There is no dimmers. There is no pan and tilt. Obviously, it's a square of pixels. So my channel count is 432. No more, no less. There is just pixels. If you have fixtures with pan and tilt, with intensity, with strobe, with macros, I will show you in second step how to use the custom size. That's where you need to set up that. And I hit create. So create. Here we go. Let's enter a name. My fixture. Keyboard is a bit far. Sorry for that. So let's giving a name that will be I don't know, demo fixture. Oh, let's look. Manufacturer name, that's important. You can see on the left hand side right here you have all machines are treated by manufacturer. So that's important. In my case, I'm gonna set that to Archeos. Archeos. So 12 by 12, I check the personality. 12 by 12, RGB, that's correct. Mapping, no. So as you can see, now I have a grid of pixels, but they are not mapped. So I need to tell my software what is the DMX channels of every of my pixels, because my software don't know that. So that's what we call mapping or patching. Okay, you can see there it's all grayed out. There is no patching there. So you have several options to patch your matrix. You can click, as I will do right here. Pixel 1, address 1. Pixel 2, address 4, because I have RGB, so 4 channels per pixel. So first pixel is address 1, second pixel is address 4, obviously, and then you can click and so on, so on, so on, so on, so on. Okay. In my case, nothing funky, and let me put that down a bit. Nothing funky about that fixture here. That fixture is cable not in a snake but in row like that. I guess we're gonna see pretty easy. So first pixel is here, and 12 pixel is here, and the next one starts on the next line right there. So I am going to patch that right now. So starting from the top left corner, that's why my interface is telling me right here. I can start from the top right, bottom left, bottom right. Starting from top left, horizontal mapping, no snakes, so no snakes mapping, just in line. Okay, so I don't check snakes. And my first address is 1. The first red of my picture, the first red of my picture is address 1, so I'm starting at the address 1. In my case, automap, and voila, that's done. You can check now, everything is red, everything is patched. First pixel is top left, last pixel is bottom right. Okay, so when it's done, you just press OK. A lot of questions, some questions that we get on support. People don't get their fixture working or have no output even if they address everything correctly. Most of the time they forget that step, the step of mapping, patching here. That's what I forgot. If everything is gray here, it means nothing is patched, your fixture is not finished, you won't have any output. So check that everything is red, every pixel is active, and then you are good to go. Press OK. My fixture is stored automatically in my manufacturer that I forgot was Archeos. Yeah, okay, was Archeos demo fixture. Here we go. I got from my list, drag, drop on my output. Let me switch to that. I drop the fixture on my output. You can see bottom left right here the name of my fixture in ArtNet, the DMX address of my fixture, IP, we're gonna see the IP a little bit later on, subnet, and universe. So now I need to patch now my fixture in my mapping with the same DMX and the same universe patching that I have on my fixture right here. Okay, so the patch needs to be the same in here and of course in the software. Okay, my case, I'm gonna check back on my fixture and my machine is address 1, that's correct, and let me check the universe 15. Okay, so that machine is on universe 15. Okay, it can be a universe 1, universe 15, any universe, that will depend on your setup. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch transition. I'm going to switch to my fixture. I select my fixture, that's what I have right here. No output, nothing is outputting there. Universe changing from 2 to 15, enter. There we go. And there now you have your fixture outputting. You can see as well that my test pattern will help me to align my fixture. So when I'm moving the fixture on my mapping, it's moving live on the output. Okay, we have several test patterns. Actually, we have two. We have two test patterns. The test pattern are this one or that one. Okay, obviously you can load your own test pattern. It's a JPEG or PNG. So if you like to load your own test pattern, you can go right here. It shows test image, and test image will be automatically loaded and go onto your background right now. I have one fixture. Let's say that I have a setup with a different fixture. Let's say I have 3 of that fixture in my setup. Right click, duplicate element. Horizontally, I do have 3. If I duplicate the element, automatically the software will patch the fixture one after the other. Okay, so 3 horizontally, 1 vertically. Press OK, and you can see now I do have 3 fixture. Okay, if I switch back to the window right here, you can see fixture 1 start at the address 1, fixture 2 have jump a subnet on the next subnet, so subnet 1 universe 0, or if you are counting universe 16, the next one universe 1 subnet 1, so universe 17. Okay, so automatically the fixture will auto address after each other. All right, let me go back to that. I'm gonna delete the fixture that I don't need. Press delete. Fixture I have right here. Can rotate, of course. Okay, and if you need to adapt, you can enter size and position right here. Let me change the rotation 360. Okay, is that correct in my case? Green on the left, blue on the right. Yeah, that's correct. You can also change size if needed. If you have several fixture or complex mapping, you like to squeeze that, like to compress a bit your mapping depending whatever result you like to do, or you have different pixel pitch and you like to combine those together, so you can change the size of your fixture. Myself, that's the beginning, so I'm gonna stay standard. That's the first step of my mapping. I see the output running on my fixture there. and I'm good to go. So what I need to do right now, and let me check on the chat if everybody is following. Yes. What you need to do right now, you need to save your mapping. So just go save. So just go save, file, save, and that mapping is automatically saved. Again, software didn't ask me anything there, just hit save, didn't ask me anything. Did he save something? Yes, of course. If you follow a bit previous live, and I bet you follow that you're here every week to follow me on my trainings, we saw that every information of MediaMaster is stored in the library. Okay, so if I go back to my library, and my library is in my document Archaeos MediaMaster library. So library document Archaeos MediaMaster library. Here we go. And you scroll a bit there, you see LED mapper right here. There is the mapping. That's the good date, that's the good timing. So when I hit save, that file was saved right there. Okay, so that file goes directly into the library of MediaMaster. Okay, so I know it's saved. Something that you can do still, if you like to have a backup, you can go file and export your mapping. Okay, exporting your mapping will do basically a save as, and you can export it and move it from computer to computer. Okay, so I'm done with that save, and I'm gonna close LED mapper. So between LED mapper and MediaMaster, if you have both running at the same time and you open LED mapper and you enable the network output of LED mapper will have priority on the output. So LED mapper will show it the test pattern over whatever you send from MediaMaster. Okay, so when I'm done with my setup, I don't want to have any interference there. We're gonna see how I can do fast fine tuning. I just close LED mapper. Okay, bottom right for my interface status, and I'm gonna stop QList right here and close that down. Go back to my patch 1. Here we go. Bottom right from my interface, status LEDs, status of my system. You can see that I'm in video mapper mode. My license is active, and I do have some MIDI coming in. Okay, LED mapper is grayed out. It means it's not active. So to activate it, sorry, go preference, output, and just checking if I'm not in the way. Select activate, press OK. MediaMaster needs to apply the change, need to restart his engine, not restart the software, so all playbacks will restart. What's happening right now is that MediaMaster is basically loading the mapping file from the library to the from the library to his system, to his engine. You could see that on the same time my output went black. That's because MediaMaster is on now. I have a blue LED. Everything is fine. My system is ready to play. As we did with any visuals, fader up, and I get the visual playing. As simple as that. We saw a bit before. Let me check. It's not patching MIDI. Let me take another one. That visual right here, fader up, and it's playing there. If I go to my master preview, we can see that I'm sending a visual to my LED mapper output. You can see that the output gets very pixelated when I toggle from surface 1 to LED mapper. That's because we re-render the output pixel perfect to your canvas size. Okay, so there what I see is a stretch resolution. It's an expand resolution of what was my output again? 25 on 50. Okay, so that's normal, it's pixelated, that's because I have low pixels. But again, that's how to optimize your engine. That's all I need. I have a 12 by 12 fixture right there. I don't need something else. If we go to output, there I have my surface, surface 1. So surface 1, that's my full output. That's my full output that we have somewhere. There we go. So that's the full output that I have on my screen. That's my surface 1. Okay. And LED mapper will be my surface in LED. So I can either send a visual to my LED mapper output or to my surface, to my screen right there. I can also create a group of the two together. So press outputs, new. We'll call that screen plus LED. Screen plus ArtNet. Press OK. Select my surface 1, LED mapper output. Press there. Select my group right here, and now I have both running E in my ArtNet output and my graphical output at the same time. Okay, so nothing complicated there. That's basic setup in ArtNet mapping. Okay, how do I patch my fixture, send it to my media master? But there is a lot of much more advanced feature there. Let's go back to LED mapper. Open the previous mapping. You can see that my output switch, that switch back to the test pattern. As I said, media master is still running in the background. Okay, so if I move that, you can see that media master is still running right here. But as I open LED mapper takes over higher priority because you like to do your setup, so you like to go back to your setup mode. So blocks your output of media master, and you just see the test pattern there. Just have to find my mouse back. Okay, so let's duplicate the elements 3 horizontally. I have 3 fixture identical right here. Okay, that's my 3 fixture. Let's have another one right there. So here I need to patch those 4 fixture. Canvas is too small, no worries. Canvas size, I can expand the width, and we can go back to 100 width, and my fixture right there. You can do a multi-selection right here, moving with your mouse, moving with keyboard, left and right, moving all your groups together there. You can rotate the group. Okay, rotate the whole group of fixture, or if you hold one of those, you can, if you hold the gizmo of one of the fixture, you can do a rotation of every fixture from the center of those. Okay, so that's rotation of the group, or you select that and you can rotate your fixture. You see live that my output there is updating live again. Okay. Ooh, 360. All right, 4 fixtures. Okay. Multi-selection. Right-click, align to top. All my fixtures are now aligned to the same pixels on top. I like to spread my fixtures evenly right here. Right click, align top, right click again, align, distribute horizontally, and now they all spread evenly on my mapping. Okay, that's the first step. Highlight. If you do have a lot of fixture on your setup most of our users have a lot of fixtures, don't have only one as me. You do have a lot. You do have a lot of fixtures in all your setup, most of your setup guys. You like to move a bit the position, but you're not sure if you select the good one. You have a nice option right here, which is highlight on selection. So each time you're gonna select your fixture is gonna flash in white or in green. Okay, so I'm selecting the second one right now. I'm gonna select the good one, and that is now flashing, so you can easily identify your fixture if you have a large, wide setup or a big stage, or you're a bit lost with your addressing or your setup. My case, no output on selection. That's pretty annoying on the camera. Checking the live if everything is fine. Yep. So first step, that's it. You can see as well, if I scrolling a bit in, that my fixture, when I move my fixture around, this is snapping to my grid. So it's snapping to every of my pixels. You can remove that snap option to move freely your fixture. Okay. If you don't need a precise pixel perfect mapping there, you just like to spread that evenly to have a nice texture, you can also move it like that. Most of the time I will advise you guys have that engaged, so you can have perfectly aligned and symmetric setup. Okay, control scroll of your mouse, zoom in or out. Okay, zooming out right now. That's my setup. Let me expand that a bit. Right hand side, mapping, patching. There you can see the 4 fixtures from my mapping. You can see the name, IP, the universe, subnet, and the DMX patch. Okay, so there you can have your list and looks by universe, find your fixture by universe. You can select the fixture from the list as well. That window there you can expand and extract from. You can extract that from the mapper to move that on a second screen. Maybe if you have a lot of fixture and you like to gain space, just extract that window there. That's very handy that's very handy to move it around. Let me place that back here. There we go. So 4 fixtures. I'm gonna switch to my second camera. Okay, gonna move that here. Okay, that back here. Okay, so left hand side, fixture node. So what's the fixture node? What do I see here? What do I see in that window here? I can just select fixture. I can't do much with that. So this is what we call the ArtNet poll. So ArtNet poll, that's monitoring every ArtNet fixture that are shown on your network. ArtNet node, ArtNet fixture, like this one is connected to network, so it's an ArtNet fixture. Lightdesk as well will show there, will show from that list. So every fixture that are ArtNet compliant must declare on the network his name, IP address, and universe and DMX address from there. So that's the information I see there. Obviously, the fixture I have here have IP address which is 2.169.0.6, and as we saw a bit, as I had to look before a bit earlier on, could see that it's universe 15. So again, if I don't know the patch on my fixture, the ArtNet poll there will give me some precision. So what's on my network, is my device is present or not. So that's pretty handy tool there. We can see that on my list, every fixture shows in orange. What does that mean? as I explained you earlier, MediaMaster have 256 universe of ArtNet output. We say broadcast and unicast. For those of you that knows networks, that knows ArtNet, most of you are using Lighting and DMX, so you know. Outputting 256 universe of broadcast on a gigabit network, mission impossible. That can't work. So broadcast, it will be broadcast is a way to output ArtNet which is very bandwidth that consume a lot of bandwidth. Okay, so having a couple of universe that I have right here, so this fixture is nearly one universe, should be okay. Broadcast is fine, that's by default. If you have more universe, so we have setups where people output 100, 200, 400 universe of ArtNet from our system. So we have fixed installation TV sets that output 200 universe from one machine. You will need to a bit manage your network or to use unicasting. Unicasting will optimize your network and will send to every fixture the data that concern the fixture. So according to the IP address, so as you see that fixture have an IP address, I can set to my software the package, the DMX information that concern that fixture goes only to a dedicated IP address, to a unique IP address. That's so basically, very basically with my word, or a unicast is working. So you can target specific package of DMX, specific package of ArtNet to a specific IP address. Okay, by doing that you will optimize by 10 your network. Okay, it's pretty easy to use, very easy to use. It's very convenient. Okay, most of you that have experienced that, you could see that on some setups you have frame drop, you have fixture freezing, you could have a lot of issue with a too busy network, because I have a Cat5 going from my computer going into my switch, a switch I have here, and then I have a Cat5 going to my fixture. That fixture have a network port as well. So that fixture also receives data and needs have a certain intelligence and needs to use those data, to process that data. If you send too much data to the fixture will be lost, will freeze and stop working. Okay. If you send to the machine only data that concern the fixture there, you will save processing on the machine as well. So that's very important. I will very much advise you to do that, guys. So unicast your package. In my case, that's pretty easy. Cat5 going to my system there. My fixture is an ArtNet fixture. Follow the ArtNet specification of artistic license. So send on the network is ArtNet pole, so is ArtNet pole messages, so is IP address. So how to unicast the package of that fixture, I just have to enter the IP address. If I go here to IP, auto means I'm broadcasting the information. Click on the drop down menu. I can select the fixture from the ArtNet pole, which is the good one, or I can enter manually. If the fixture don't give his IP address on the network, you can still force it and enter it manually, and as well give a name. Okay, or you are preparing your setup offline, you don't have the fixture there, but you know that you're gonna have DMX nodes. From that DMX nodes you have 100 RGB parkins, and you like to unicast the information for those RGB parkins to that node and only to that node, because you have 2 desks on the network, you have a Luminex fiber extender, something like that. You like to optimize the network, so you can just send the package to your node by entering the IP address of your node right here. My case, it's pretty easy. Select the fixture right here, and I'm unicasting now my packages to the fixture. You can see as well on my list there of fixture, the device went from orange to black. Orange means broadcast, black means unicast. Okay, you can see also in my list here that on my node Kingstar LED ball IP address 169.06, I have one fixture assigned patch to that IP. Okay, you see as well that that fixture there goes to the IP, which is pointing with my fingers, but no one see my fingers. But if you follow my mouse there, pointing to that IP. Okay, that's very important to do and very easy. Okay, just one click, nothing changed. You don't have to change anything on the fixture. Please do that. You will really optimize your network there, especially if you go over, hard to say, but over 10 universe. Okay, it starts to be a bit messy. It will depend on a lot of factors. It will depend what do you have on the network. Do you go straight DMX from a node, DMX node to the fixture, or do you go straight to the fixture? It will depend how powerful is the ArtNet network processing on the fixture. So a lot of parameters there. If you don't know, like to play it safe, just unicast from there. If you are not sure about your setup, you can also, and that's an option we have in MediaMaster in LED Mapper. If you go in Preference, you have an option ArtNet Broadcast. By default, every fixture I'm gonna patch in the network will be output in ArtNet Broadcast, but I have an option Auto Unicast at ArtNet Poll Reply. So for the GrandMA users that we might have on the live right now, it's also an option that you have on some lighting desk. Your universe, you can have it in broadcast, in unicast, or in auto broadcast. So auto unicast. So having that thick auto unicast means that the software will try to unicast the package that it can. So I will compare the mapping that you have entered manually right here, the mapping that you have entered there, okay, with the ArtNet poll that are found in the network. If from the ArtNet poll and from the mapping you have fixture on the same universe, on the same subnet, with the same DMX address, the software will automatically unicast the packages to that IP address. Okay, so I will just try, it will do the work that we are doing right now automatically for you. Okay, so again, auto unicast will compare the information that you have from the patching list with the information that you have from the ArtNet poll there, and combine the two if, of course, there is a match. Okay, there is no match, it will leave it in broadcast. Okay, so we don't try to play smart on your network, we try to optimize what's possible. So if you have if you don't know, you're not sure, enable that option. If some information are found and are matching together, we will automatically unicast the packages there. If we can't, we leave everything in broadcast. Okay, so not much of a change there. So something also I can advise you guys, if you don't know, just unicast the package. Okay. Let me check if there is any questions. Okay, so Alexander, I will go back to your questions a bit later on to synchronize that ArtNet network. When I'm there, I will reply you a bit later on. Good. So that's basic setup with basic fixture. Okay, just ArtNet fixture, but there is a little bit more of that from version 5.4, I guess. 5.4, we introduce in the software ArtNet merging. Some of you that do Lightning, on the market you don't have only pixel matrix like that. You have a lot of pixel matrix on moving head, for instance. We don't control moving head, we don't control motion of a light fixture, we don't control strobe. That must be done in a lighting desk. So if you like to control a moving head that have pixel matrix, you need to combine control from a lighting desk and a pixel generator. And Media Master. Okay, to combine that in network world, we say merging. So you need to merge the two data together. So I'm going to give you a bit of an example there. Okay, right here. Okay, so on the setup you see right here, there was a stage. I'm gonna pause that for you. That's a stage full of LED screen, and as well you have moving heads, pixel matrix. Those were, if I'm not mistaken, those were Ayrton Magic panels. So the setup there was one lighting desk controlling Media Master in fixture mode, and as well controlling all lighting on stage, and the video on the screens, and the video that we sent to the moving head that you see right there. Okay. We merge the data from the lighting desk and the data from Media Master using the merging in Media Master. Okay, so we had patched the lighting fixture in the desk, and we patched also the lighting fixture in Media Master, and then we activate the merge and give a priority of merging there. Everything was controlled from one operator and from one lighting desk. I'm going to show you guys how to achieve that right now. So go back to my mapping. Okay, that's nice. I have some fixture like that. Bottom row, I will expand a bit the size there. Bottom row, I do have some moving heads, pixels, moving heads, and I'm gonna create there for you. Click new. My pixels will be RGBW, let's say. That's the pixels profile of my fixture. You can see there is two RGBW, RGB plus W and RGB minus W, or RGBW. Very important difference there. We need to know how do we use, in RGBW case, how do we use the white LED when we get a white pixels. RGB plus W, when there is a white pixel reach, we will send to the light fixture a red, green, blue value plus a white value. So you get a white pixel and you have the 4 LEDs on to give a white. Okay, some fixture require it like that. Most of the fixture are RGB minus W. It means when we receive a white pixel information, we subtract RGB from those values and only shine and turn on the white LED to have a proper white. That's most of the case. That's why we do have white LED noise on lighting fixture. It's because white colors made of an RGB, it's not white, it's pink-ish. Okay, so depend. Most of the time are pink. That's why we have a W channel. So 99% of the light fixture on the market will be RGB minus W, as I explained. Some, because some light manufacturers are very creative or don't care, RGB plus W. Okay, that will depend also the results that you like to have on stage. In my case, select RGB minus W, and RGB minus W, and I will have a matrix of 5 on 5 pixels. I will take an example of a moving head, 5 on 5 pixels with a yoke and some strobe effect. On top of those 25 pixels, as it's a moving head, I have some other DMX parameters. Those parameters are pan, tilt, strobe, intensity, some macros, you name it, infinity pan, infinity tilt, that will depend. So 5 on 5, 100 value, that's only the DMX value of my pixels, but I have more than that. So I'm gonna select here and enter right here the total amount of DMX channel that my fixture have. In my case, just making that up, 115. Create. Again, we find back the my pixel address, pixel mapping, my fixture. So that product will be demo fixture 2, demo fixture 2, and the manufacturer will still be Arceus. Okay, I need to patch my pixels according to the DMX chart. Most of the moving head start with dimmers value. The first channel is dimmers, it's not pixels. It will depend on every pixels. Let's assuming that for me my first pixel doesn't start. Gonna move that up. There we go. My first pixel do not start from address 1, but start from the address 7, for instance. And mapping is not in a S, it's line by line, automap. So first pixel, top left, doesn't start from address 1, start from address 7. It means from my DMX chart, the first address of my first red, because my fixture is RGB, is address 7. I can check that by going to the personality of my fixture right here. You can see parameter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is undefined. It's not empty, it's undefined. That means that I'm telling right now to my software, those channels have nothing to do with you, basically. Those channels are not pixels. MediaMaster controls only, it's already something, but controls pixels. Those channel has nothing to do with pixel control, so they stay undefined. If I click here, I can also hardcode a value. Some fixtures required a value at a precise channels, maybe a shutter, maybe a zoom value that you like to have fixed. Any parameters. If any parameters of the fixture need to receive a fixed value, that's where you're going to put it. So you go channel and change there the undefined to the value you like to have. Okay, so undefined, and then address 7, red 1, still pointing with my finger, red 1, address 7, and then and so on and so on and so on, and we keep going until the last W is 106 and the end is undefined as well, because some function are there, reset, silent mode, you name it. Okay, press OK. Arceus, demo fixture 2, drag drop, smaller fixture. Why? Because this is a pixel size. Okay, that fixture is only a 5 by 5. Okay, so it will show smaller. If on stage that fixture have the same size of that one, what you can do to adapt the pixel ratio, just to expand it and adapt it like that. So the mapping will be cohesive. It will cover the same size of mapping and will sample the same array of pixels, so the pixel will be cohesive there. Duplicate. I will first of all patch it. In my case, I'm gonna patch that on subnet 2 universe 0. Okay, so for those that don't know how to use subnet universe, and you are all of you using universe 1, 2, 3, 4 until 256, Google is your friend. Just look for universal ArtNet chart. And there you will find some list of fixtures and universe. No, okay, my bad. It's not interesting. But there you can find a lot of DMX charts of fixture and universe to compare subnet and DMX addressing. Okay, so there, Google issue friends, you can just look at that online. Let me go back to LED mapper. So in my case, subnet 2, universe 0. Subnet 2, universe 0, and that's my mapping. I will have three horizontally, yes, three like that. So I duplicate it, it keeps the same mapping. I duplicate those and it goes from subnet 1, and you can see that the address follow each other automatically. Okay, that's it. What I need to do now is doing the same work in my lighting desk. So in the lighting desk, you need to patch the fixture as well. The fixture that I've patched here is have the same DMX size as the one that I'm gonna use in my lighting desk. What I'm going to do right now, I'm going to enable the merging. Basically, you connect the light desk, you connect the fixture on the same network. Okay, everything is on the same network, and you will tell MediaMaster, so every packages of ArtNet and DMX from, and for us, those are the moving head, from subnet 2, universe 0, on, I think it's 2 universe, not sure right now, starting on subnet 2, no, on 1 universe, because I'm just covering less than a universe here. So on 1 universe, you will merge that and send to another space of my network, send that to some other universe. So subnet, subnet 2, and I will send that now to subnet 3. Okay, apply. Okay. It means now what's happening right now, pixels that are generated from my software on subnet 2 universe 0 are sent, are merged and sent on subnet 3. Okay, the lighting desk needs in that case to have the same mapping, the same ArtNet and DMX mapping and addressing as that one right there. Okay, needs to be copy paste the same from here and the same in the desk. MediaMaster will take the control that are generated by the light desk, merge that with a pixel right here, and send that to the fixture. This means that the fixture on my set needs to be patched on subnet 3. They need to listen to the merge universe. Okay, that means after that MediaMaster from master control or from MIDI control that you see right there have a merging parameters, have a merging control. So from MediaMaster you can control that merging with 2 parameters. The first parameters will be what mode of merging do you use, because I need to know if I send blue from my pixel mapping and I send red from my lighting desk, I need to know what information do I send to my fixture. I need to know how do I merge the blue from my pixels generation, the red from my desk, how do I merge that, and what colors or what information do I send to the lighting fixture. You have different kind of merging, replace, addition, multiplication, subtraction, okay? And you have as well an intensity of merging, okay? So merging in replace with intensity 0, it means that you don't merge anything for the pixels. Colors priority will come from the lighting desk. Merging intensity at 100%. Colors priority of the pixels will come from the pixel generator, from Media Master. Okay, so that's how works the merging. And again, if you like, and I think we're gonna cover that. We're gonna cover that on a specific live session with a lighting desk here, guys. Let me check on the website right here, made by our friend Boris, which is in the chat, I think, I'm not sure. You have a full tutorial showing all steps of merging from the desk side, the software side, all the addressing, everything I show right now. Okay. What's important to keep in mind, guys, is that the control of merging, you have the control from the lighting desk. Okay. So from the lighting desk, you have two parameters of merging. What kind of merging do I do? Multiplication, addition, LTP, HTP, and in which intensity? Okay. So like the show you see right here, you can show pixels, move the pan and tilt, go from pixels to a white strobe, or go from pixels to a color from the desk. Okay. And that's again, that's in the master control of Media Master. All right, that's pretty easy. If you patch a master in your light desk, a master control, you will see that the two last parameters are LED mapping control for merging. One is how do I merge, the other one will be which intensity do I merge it. All right, we will see if I can bring you at some point a bigger setup with maybe a lighting desk and a help from one of our ambassadors, which is specialized in lighting control, to put that together, guys, and show you a bit later on. If you are interested, let's see what comes in the chat. Okay, so again, when I'm done with that, file, save, close the mapping, find Media Master, press it, and now I do have my pixels showing in my fixture. Okay, good, let's check. All right, so let's talk a bit about CleanNet. CleanNet, that's pretty easy. Some of you that maybe knows CleanNet already. So CleanNet, network protocol dedicated for pixel mapping. CleanNet is a protocol which is developed and managed by Arkeos. CleanNet is a network protocol that we put on the same level as ArtNet, as DMX, as Streaming SCN for pixel control. CleanNet is a dedicated protocol of network for pixel control. So we developed that protocol, and then you have lighting manufacturer that put that intelligence, that control that protocol in their lighting fixture. So if you go on the website of Arkeos, if you go to CleanNet, you have tab compatible device, and there you have a list of all manufacturers from the market that are compatible with CleanNet. You can see that all big players are there. We have every year we have more and more manufacturers that adopt CleanNet to manage the pixel control in their fixtures. I think we just have one which is missing, which is a brand from Belgium, from Face, that I just forgot the name, but I will go back to that. You have Klepaki, Ayrton, Elation, Robbie, Chauvet, American DJ, SGM, and so on and so on. ProLight as well, from Italy. And those are some of the KlingNet compatible fixture that you can find on the market. So as I explained, like ArtNet, KlingNet is a network protocol. To output KlingNet from your computer, from your setup, you don't need any extra piece of hardware. Okay, you just go Cat5 into a switch or directly to the fixture, and that's it. You don't need extra piece of hardware, so you don't require to have any specific adapters to go from your computers to the KlingNet fixture. It's just a network protocol. Again, if you download already the app from the app stores, KlingNet Tiles, you can turn your phone into a KlingNet fixture and just have some KlingNet playing onto your home Wi-Fi there and send visuals to your phone. That's pretty nice to do. And I've closed the tab. It's not bad, that's okay. So KlingNet patent protocol by Arkeos. Light manufacturer make KlingNet compatible fixture. We don't produce the hardware. Those light manufacturer that you see right there, they are the ones producing the fixture. KlingNet, what's the big difference of KlingNet between ArtNet? So KlingNet is a two-way protocol. So KlingNet is a protocol that will help my software, that will help my server to know what's connected on the network. A KlingNet fixture on the network will give all these informations needed for mapping to the software. It means that KlingNet is not library based. That fixture could be a fixture produced in 2020. The software that I have running here is a software from 2018. Okay. Basically, that fixture has been produced and created after my software. I don't care because I'm not library based, and the fixture through the network will give all needed data to my software. Okay. KlingNet is also optimized to manage a lot of pixels on the network. So if you like to compare what are the potential of KlingNet between ArtNet in one gigabit network, KlingNet can control, if you compare to ArtNet, KlingNet could control 4,000 DMX universe. So KlingNet on 1 gigabit network connection can manage 900,000 pixel mapped, RGB pixel mapped. So if you do a bit the calculation, it's around 4,000 DMX universe, something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's what I remember. So 4,000 DMX universe just by a single Cat5 connection, and that's it. KlingNet manage for you as well the addressing. There is no addressing needed in KlingNet. Everything is automated. That fixture have hardcoded inside fixed ID. That's what KlingNet needs to recognize that. That's it. I don't need to look on the universe patching of whatever of that fixture. Everything is automated by KlingNet on that side. So let's go back to MediaMaster. The fixture I have right here, network connected. This fixture is as well KlingNet and ArtNet at the same times. Some fixture required to have in the menu, you need to switch from KlingNet to ArtNet. That one just listening from both at the same time. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm gonna switch off my ArtNet output. Okay. Good. Just switch off the ArtNet output. So my fixture doesn't receive any ArtNet information anymore. I could just change the patch in my mapping as well and change that to another universe, so nothing will reach that, but I just change it right here. So like LED mapper, I open the ClickNet mapper. ClickNet mapper open blank, as you see right here, and there we go. My ClickNet mapper just scanned the network and find already some fixtures. Fixtures are showing in red right now, they're back in black, because ClickNet is also acting as a DHCP service and give IP address to the fixture if needed. So if the fixture require an IP address, ClickNet can distribute IP address as well. In my case, I have put a fixed IP because I had some ArtNet going on before on the same network port, but ClickNet works in the 2 range, 10 range, and works as well in DHCP. Okay, so if you leave your network port without any fixed IP, that works as well, because ClickNet will send IP if needed. Again, if you like to try, if you have some fixture device on your stock, feel free, jump there. If not, use the phone app. So you can see that that window is a bit common as what we saw for ArtNet. You don't need to select a network port. What happened is that ClickNet mapper have sent a broadcast message on every network port that you have connected on your system and choose the one where ClickNet fixture is. So everything is managed there on your side. We have a ClickForce there. I'm gonna speak a bit later on about the ClickForce if I have some time left, I hope. Yes. So first thing, I'm gonna enable the test pattern output of my fixture. There we go. Shows automatically. I have 2 test patterns, same canvas size, same rules, you know already the drill. 50, 25. This is interesting here, what we see in the list. This is not a list of manufacturer. This is the list of ClickNet fixture present in the network. So there, ClickNet find in the network several fixture. Let's forget what you see bottom here. I'm going to speak a bit later on about that. We will even displug it right now. I'm gonna just rescan the network. Okay, so now I just have that running right here. Pixel DMT Pixel Tile. That's the brand. That's the name of my fixture. You see top here, I don't have any library. It's not library based. Every information I store right here, drag, drop, and voila, I do have control of my fixture. That's it. Nothing more complicated than that. Bottom left, you see here, just next to me, that direction, there, yeah, just next to me, I do have a manufacturer name, a resolution as well. ClickNet also managed for me the pixel format. So you remember that when we did the ArtNet patching, I need to look online before what's the patch, what's the DMX profile of my pixels. In the case I don't care, fixture is telling that to me. Okay. File, save. Again, that file is saved into the library of MediaMaster. So if I go to my library, MediaMaster library, we do have a ClickNet folder. Into that folder, mapping, and that's the mapping that I have saved right now. You can have an export if you like. Close the mapping. Okay. Same as LED mapper, file, preference, ClickNet, activate ClickNet. Engine needs to restart to apply the change. My output will go black. There we go, my output is black. And now select my visual. I have an extra, you don't see it, sorry, because I'm in front. No. Yep. From here, I have an extra output. That extra output is ClickNet, and there I can send visual to my ClickNet fixture. edit, open ClickNet Mapper, rescanning the network. There we go, my fixture is found, it's green, so it means that the fixture is mapped, is there. As I explained you, two-way protocol, so if I displug, I'm gonna try to find the good wire, if I displug Cat5 from my switch, the Cat5 here, you see that my fixture now is showing red because it's missing. Just plug it back. And it just starts working again. Okay, so two-way protocol, my software knows that those fixtures were missing. That's how you can also identify, troubleshoot some fixture. If you have fixture showing in red, it means they lose power, there is wrong connection there. Send a technician on stage, just replace the fixture. You don't need to re-put any DMX address, any IP address on the fixture. Media Master or the ClickNet Mapper in that case will take care of that. That fixture will show as new into your mapping there. Drag and drop, and you can map that right here. Okay. Those are basic fixture. Controlling those kind of fixture in ClickNet, the big value added is that that's easy. If you like to have a stage with a lot of pixel control fixture and a lot of parameters, that will be the most, let's say, the most fastest solution, but also let's say the solution that will give you the most flexibility in what kind of fixture you like to use, but as well it will be very cost effective because you don't need any specific thing. You don't need extra USB to ArtNet dongle that will activate you that amount of controls or that amount of control channels or special license that will just give you 10 universe of controls, whatever. With ClickNet and with Media Master, you just have a Cat5. You go to a switch, any switch, best switch is kind of switch that I have right here. This is a gigabit switch. It's a gigabit switch unmanaged. Don't need to do VLAN, whatever. Unmanaged gigabit switch. Any gigabit switch is good. That one could have a lot of settings, but I never set any settings there. That's the best thing. So go Cat5, go to your fixtures, and that's it. Also, try to keep in mind, don't try to do too much of a link in one chain of fixture. Try to use as much as you can switch, so do chain of 5-6 fixture maximum. It will depend of what brand of lighting you have, but try to don't have too long chain of fixtures. So fixtures like that, there behind me I already have one universe of control. It's a lot of channel. If you like to, you do a set design, any small stage, any small club with that, you need a bit more than 2. Okay, this is a nice fixture, but at least a couple of dozen on stage to have already a nice look. If you like to try to doing that with ArtNet, everything we spoke a bit earlier, IP address, DMX address, unicasting. Also, if you like to do with other solution, you will need special hardware that will unlock your universe, you name it. Okay, so for those lighting fixture is pretty nice to use, very easy. But we have some other fixture. Let's take some, for instance, from Robbie, because I do have some video. Robbie spiders, Robbie tarantula, those are moving heads that have inbuilt ClickNet control. Why using? I'm gonna show you that right here. Here we go. So why using ClickNet for this kind of lighting fixtures? So you know those fixtures are pixel controllable. To control, because that's the one I know very well, to control a Robbie Spider's pixel mode, you need to put the machine in mode 9 or mode 10. It means that you have more than 100 parameters of control, of DMX control, to enable pixel control of that fixtures. It means that you will take as well 100 DMX channels from your light desk, basically. DMX channels, DMX controls on a light desk have cost. Not for every, not the same cost compared to every brand, but have cost money-wise. Obviously, you have small and big desk, but have cost also in processing, wiring, and so on. Okay, having this kind of moving heads, such as the Robbie Spiders, Tarantula, Clepaki, the new BI of Clepaki, enable the ClickNet control of those, will save you first of all a lot of parameters of DMX. Here in that video, in that tutorial, you can see, and you can find that from a website, you can see how can I control the Robbie Spiders in ClickNet. It means I do have ArtNet or DMX control from my lighting desk, and I have a Cat5 going to the fixture for my ClickNet control. It means that in my lighting desk, as you see right here, we can use the fixture in mode 1, fixture in the smallest mode channel possible. It means that I can have a light set, a big stage with 100 of those fixtures in mode 1, 49 parameters only of DMX in my DMX controllers, because all the pixels do not come from any DMX control, but come from ClickNet control. Okay, so you will save all of those parameters from your lighting desk. You will save all of that because you will dedicate it pixel control from MediaMaster. Also, and I take an example again, the Robbie Spider there have a parameter which is called color mix. Color mix is the channel of DMX that you control from the lighting desk. Basically, it's a pixel controller. Color mix at 0, priority of pixels from the lighting desk. So LEDs will take the colors or the animation of whatever from the light desk. Color mix at 255, priority control to the LED from ClickNet. It means that the LED animation in the moving head will come from ClickNet. And the value in between, you blend between the colors from the desk and the pixel from MediaMaster. You do a crossfade, an addition, a subtraction, you name it. So big value added for those very large channels, DMX channel heaters, such as those machine there, is that you can save a lot of parameters. If you go for Light and Sound, not this year, but we hope, hopefully, next year, Robbie, Clepaki booth, GB Lighting booth as well, all of their moving head running pixels are running MediaMaster actually. So if you know the size of those booths at ProLight and Sound, the size of Robbie booth, I can tell you they spare thousands of channels just by using ClickNet into their fixtures. Okay, so that's one of the main the main reason why to use ClickNet in those moving heads. So again, if you have those pictures in stock right now, you have some free time in the shop, get the light out of the fly case, 2 lights, have a look at the video right there. You can find on our website. Have some ClickNet on. That's pretty easy to use. Okay, so that's a big value. If you're not sure if the fixture that you have in your shop are ClickNet compatible, just control your representative from the brand. Just contact that representative and contact him and ask information about your fixture. But if you go on the Archaeos website, again, there you have all the brand, and most likely all of those brands have ClickNet control in all of their pixel animated moving head and so on. Okay, good. So that's that's about ClickNet there. And to finish, that's a bit a longer session, but it's okay. To finish, we have I do have another pixel controllable fixture running ClickNet. This is called, it's right there, my camera, you. This is called the ClickForce LED. So that's SPI driver, LED tape driver, made by us, made by Archaeos. This is made in Belgium. Can tell you guys it's actually made 15 kilometers from here, most likely. So that's very, very local there. Made in Belgium. Running ClickNet. 8 output of LED tape. 4 or 3 wires. It's 5 or 12 volts. The driver is either 5 or 12 volts. You have there gigabit switch network dedicated ClickNet. It's a proper gigabit switch, so you can daisy chain a lot of fixture. Okay. We made calculation in the office. You can daisy chain up to 30 of those. You can drive per output. About 400 pixels. RGB or RGBW, we don't care because it's running ClickNet. It's not running ArtNet, so it's not limited by channels and so on. You name it. 400 pixel per output times 4. Okay. Running ClickNet. So in my setup here, and I'm gonna switch to my second camera. Yoo-hoo! Stuck. That's stuck. Okay. So got my Cat 5. I've got as well power supply. Okay, so 5 volts power supply because the tape I have here, the tape I have right here, sorry, the tape I have right here is a 5 volts LED tape. Okay, don't know if you see very well. 5 volts LED tape. Not the best cameraman, but that's gonna be okay, I hope. Where is my fixture? Okay, we see. So what I'm going to do, I'm gonna connect to the output 1 my LED tape that I have here. That's my LED tape. Any LED tape. We call that pixel tape. We will talk about protocol a bit later on. And have the power supply right here. Starting up. I'm gonna open my ClickNet mapper. Okay, now we see we have Dutch Media Tool fixture connected, and I'm gonna connect now my Cat 5. Goes there. Cat 5 to my fixture. Let's wait that something happen on the network. So that fixture running Texas Instrument drivers, running a Linux stack on top of it, so it's pretty powerful system there. And you see, already found my system, and I already have some pixels running right here. So I have a new friend up here showing in the note, a note that will be, and I'm gonna switch camera again because I'm in front. Sorry for that. There we go. Selecting my note, and you can see properties of my note on that side. My note, it's basically my driver. My driver have 2 cores. You can see that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 output. First thing that you have to do with pixel tape control, you have to select what kind of protocol is that chip. Okay, there is a lot of different protocol on the network, and I see Hermano there in the live. He made already a couple of installation with the Klingforce. There is a lot of different protocol on the network. You know which protocol is your LED chip, which protocol is your tape. That's written on the box, basically. And that's before you buy it. You should know it. There is some 5 volt, there is some 12 volt. There is as well some tape that are 3 wires, 4 wires. There is a lot of different protocol. From that drop down, select which protocol U-tape is running. See that I have 2 groups of LED. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 8. It means on the same drivers I can have 2 tape, 2 kind of LED strips connected there. In my case, that's the W2812, which is the most common protocol. That's the protocol of my LED tape. LED tape, data LED tape protocol, pretty basic protocol. There is no feedback of information. So there is no way that I can know, my driver can know how many LEDs are connected to my output. There's no way I can know that, unfortunately, because that thing doesn't give the feedback. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have to set how many pixels do I have on my output. Okay, I have 8 output, only 1 is connected, only my output 1 is connected, so I'm going to do 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 on the 1 I don't use. You see on my output 1, you can see that I have a power consumption here. Okay, my driver is running ClingNet. He has feedback of information, so I know what's the power consumption of every of my outputs there. So there I can obviously already see that I have pixels connected. I'm gonna try to have you a better shot of the tape. Okay, that won't be possible. Anyhow, by default, I have 32 LEDs set on my output. You can see that my tape is way bigger than that. It's something I bought online. I think it's a 5 meters tape, 60 LED per meters. There is tons that you can find on the market. I will use my output with, let's say, 100 LEDs. You can see that automatically 100 LEDs. The rest of my strip is no lighting, is no control by my system. And as any ClingNet fixture, you see top right here, I have my a fixture of 101 pixel showing up. Click on it. Like ArtNet, you remember, if I click on it, hopla. If I click on it, it will blink green. Okay, so each time I click on it, you see that it's blinking green. Like any other ClingNet fixture, drag, drop, and this is my 100 pixel line. You can see that now I have my pixel right here. My canvas is too small. You know already the drill. Canvas with 100, and now I have it right there. And I got my LED now shining like my test pattern. Let me get that a bit bigger. Okay, that's my LED tape shining right there. Like any other ClingNet fixture, I can rotate it, I can place it everywhere. You know that LED tape, that's very nice. People like that because you can do a lot of creative design with that. It means I could cut here a part and solder that another place. So with a line or one output of LED tape, I can do a lot of different design. So that output 1, of my driver, let's say it's actually two sections of 50 LEDs. Right click, split device. By default, he advised me by default he choose the half, split in two. So now what I have two independent control, two independent fixture of 50 pixels on one. Okay, so again, one controller's 8 times 400 pixels is a lot of pixels, and you can place it right here. Small trick, if you just like to have a preview of MediaMaster running, you go File, Save, Output, you change the output by MediaMaster. The output will now show test pattern, the visuals of MediaMaster. Here we go. Okay. Derive with black and white on my LEDs. Just another CleanNet fixture. So to finish a bit there, CleanNet, ArtNet, the two different protocol network that can live together on the same network. Okay, guys. Today I've set up once and then the other because I have ArtNet, CleanNet fixture, but you can output from MediaMaster, CleanNet and ArtNet on the same time. Okay, that fixure there available on our web shop. Yeah. KlingForce LED, playing LED tape. We have 12 different protocols, 400 LEDs per output. Very strong hardware, made in Belgium, very good quality, and very easy to use because it's running CleanNet. So that's pretty much it for today, except if I forgot something. Let me have a look on the chat. Oh, it's a busy chat. Yes, Andrea. So to reply, so what do we do when we have an LED screen, ArtNet or CleanNet fixture within the same setup? So the idea is to have a canvas of alignment, which is you stage size, you stage ratio as a background in the LED mapper, keep the same ratio, and then you can combine that and merge that onto the two. So for now, video mapper and CleanNet mapper is two separated there. We are looking in the future to a bit combine and merge the two, so you could easily combine a big mapping of pixel tape with LED screens, with projections, things like that. So for now, you have to do it in the two separate software. It's a bit of an exercise, but a lot of users are doing that. A lot of TV set as well are doing it, so it's doable. In the future, we will combine that together, so that will be easier for you to work on. So if you have any other questions, I leave you a few seconds more. So while we're waiting for the French-speaking friends that are maybe on the live, tomorrow we do have a live on the friends channel, which is LC Formation, that will be in French, about surface control. I will be there as well to help Julien that will give that training for LC Formation. That's tomorrow around 2 p.m. The next training as well, why I'm waiting for the questions, the next training as well will be on GrandVJ. Each week we change. Grand VJ will be Grand VJ, a bit of an overview of the video mapper, and the one after will be surface control from a lighting desk with our good friend Leonard. I think that's pretty it. It looks like pixel mapping is very easy. You get everything I explained, so I'm pretty proud of that. So again, stay tuned on our socials. A lot of things happening right now. A lot of nice things as well that we share. A lot of your installation. If you like that we speak about your work, just hashtag us on social network. We'll be very pleased to share your work. If you have any questions, contact@archaeos.net. Feel free to send an email there, and download the website for free. Try it if you didn't try already, and see you on the next live. Bye bye.